Live by your own rules. Be authentic to yourself. And this is going to be so very important because the message is powerful. And what I want you to do, and I want you to continue to think about while you're listening to the message, is how can you apply your own rules to your life right now?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Welcome back. I'm your host. My name is Prince Williams, the real Prince Williams. And we're going to get right into it. But the title of today's discussion is Live by Your Own Rules. Be authentic to yourself. And this is going to be so very important because the message is powerful. And what I want you to do, and I want you to continue to think about while you're listening to the message, is how can you apply your own rules to your life right now? But before we get into this, I'm going to set it up and I'm going to play this clip. And I really want you to listen to this clip.
Be you. If you're Italian, talk like the Italian. Be the Italian stallion. Talk like this. Be yourself. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Don't try to pretend that you have a Cockney accent. You know what I mean? No, be yourself. If you are yourself and you are authentic, people will appreciate you. Think about it. Which are the politicians we admire most? The ones that have graduated from Harvard, London School of Economics, and Oxford, and they use words that we don't understand? Or the ones that speak plain language and we can relate and we can build a rapport with? I don't know if we like any politicians, but the ones that we do. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
So let's explore this a little bit deeper. What does it mean to live by your own rules? What does it actually mean to live by your own rules? So it really means to be able to think for yourself, to be sovereign. And what does it mean when I'm talking about being a sovereign person? You know, what is it? What is a sovereign person? A sovereign person is someone who has power, who's able to move with power without limitations. And so what creates those limitations? This is important because I really want you to wrap your mind around this. It's important because you only have limitations because you're thinking at a lower level of vibrations. Higher levels of awareness and consciousness creates higher level of thinking. And that requires you to be comfortable in your own skin. And a lot of people aren't comfortable in their own skin. That's what gets them in trouble. You know, they seek out seeking behavior or approval seeking, and they're looking for somebody to just be happy with them or pleased with them. Well, let me tell you something. You can't please everybody. It's impossible. So the only person that you really should be pleasing is yourself. So what you're striving for is not to look for the limitations, because you want to be limitless instead of limited because of your limited thinking or your limited awareness. So I challenge you, you have to remain open. You have to strive to be thinking at a higher level of consciousness. And when I speak about consciousness, people think, oh, it's this or that, and they try to make it out to what it is. Really, when I'm speaking about consciousness, I'm really just talking about awareness. And awareness is the thinking or the type of thinking that you're thinking about. It's thinking about and being conscious of thinking about what you're thinking about. Because your level of thinking creates your level of limitations. So in this next video, I want to show you, and I'm just going to play a small little clip of this. I want to show you who you really are. that was just a really short clip. You know, who you really are at your core. And you're more than just this 3D reality. So where your thoughts flow, that's where your actions go. So with that, we're going to move to the next point. And the next point is this. A harmless man is not a good man, but a good man is a dangerous man. And this quote comes by a rather modern famous psychologist who is starting to make waves. But what he's getting at is, and what he's alluding to is, you don't want to be a nice guy. A nice guy, and I know it sounds counterintuitive, but a nice guy is a person who's doing it not because he actually really wants to do it, but he's doing it because he's looking for something. He's seeking something. He's people pleasing. He's attention seeking. He has ulterior motives. But a good man stands on, you know, his values and his principles and what he can control. And so you want to be a good man. And a good man is not anybody that can be moved. He's unshakable. He's unmovable. He's rooted and he's planted. What I really want you to understand is your reality is your own, and I want you to own that. And if you don't like something, a good man would change that. He can change his habits, his thoughts, his perceptions, his beliefs, and unchecked biases. Everything is in your control. And then what not in your control is teaching you how to control what you can control, which it ain't very much. The only thing that you really have control over is how you respond to things. And what you respond to is what you're probably looking at and what you're viewing within your reality. And we all have those friends that are negative. And then we have those friends that are positive. And sometimes it makes you wonder, it makes you sit back and wonder like, that was weird. Why did that person view that way? And that's the lenses in which they're viewing the world. That's the lenses in which they see the world. But here was another quote, and it's by Albert Einstein. He says, one of the most important decisions that we're going to have to make within ourselves internally is we're going to have to make the decision of whether we believe, the key word is believe, we live in a hostile universe or we live in a friendly universe. That's uber important and very powerful. Because the question is what do you believe? And the fact of the matter is, belief can be changed. So that means you have a choice. So if you could choose anything, what I would like for you to choose, if you take anything away from this discussion today, is I want you to become limitless. I want you to become superhuman. I want you to be a superhero. If not to anybody else, I want you to be a superhero to yourself. And when you're talking about being a superhero, this means becoming unshakable and movable. When you think of someone who is superhuman, you're thinking of someone who is rooted, is solid, can't be shaken up. It's above all the chaos. Someone who is very stoic. And a stoic person is someone who's in control, even in the middle of chaos. But this might require you to be alone. And I don't want you to confuse aloneness with loneliness. They're two different things. Aloneness means I choose to be alone so I can reflect on the things that I need to reflect on that is going to make me better. And that's what's going to build up the value within yourself. This is an internal thing. It's everything, all change happens on the inside. So as you build up value within yourself, and that's how you grow. But your true worth, your true value can't be moved by somebody on the external. And believe it or not, this is counterintuitive, but people are going to gravitate towards you when you're your most authentic self. Right? And this is what makes the authentic self is what makes you perfect. It's what makes you whole. What makes you complete. And if you take anything away, I want you to believe this, internalize this. No one's going to love you until you first love yourself. And again, don't confuse that with being selfish, but it has to start with you first. That's what I'm getting at. And until you start with you first, how can somebody treat you if you don't first know how to treat yourself?
The Stoics are masters of one-liners, and I want to give you 5 of the best all-time Stoic one-liners. Number 1 from Epictetus: if you want to be beautiful, make beautiful choices. Number 2 from Seneca: we suffer more in imagination than reality. Number 3 from Marcus Aurelius: we love ourselves more than other people, but for some reason we care about their opinions more than our own. 4 from Marcus Aurelius: you always have the right to have no opinion about this. You can always think nothing about this. And finally, Zeno: you have 2 ears, but only 1 mouth for a reason.
And with that, thank you for joining in. My name is Prince Williams, the real Prince Williams.